What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Lump Dog. I'm back. It's PPH, Pimps, Plays, and Hustlers Fantasy Football League Video Commissioner Message, week number 12. Wow. Week number 12. Don't you forget, too, I don't know if you heard, but I'm your favorite fantasy football commissioner's favorite fantasy football commissioner. Don't forget that. It's something you should always know and always have in the back of your mind. So here we are, fellas. Only 1 week left in the regular season, and the playoffs start. We got about a four-way. I mean, there's so many options here. We've got so many people bunched up at 5 and 7, and we also have a couple 6 and 7 teams, or 6 and 6 teams, excuse me. So the scenarios for the 8th, 7th. I mean, there's just so much you can go all through them, and it's just hard to predict. So from what I'm looking at, it looks like we're down to maybe 3 teams for the 8th spot between Trump's a Pimp, Big Loads, and Patty's Playboys. Depending on who wins and loses out of that group is going to really depend on who makes the playoffs. I know URSO, they've won their 6 and 6. But they lose, and one of these teams, other than Patty, Trump's a Pimp, I guess there's only 15 points really kind of separating URSO and Trump's a Pimp. So it's going to really come down to the last games of the season to see who's going to be making those 8th and 7th seeds. Rest of the people are pretty much locked in to the playoffs, but seeding can go every way. I think I'm pretty much locked in at number 1. I don't think the rookie or Suckles could catch me in points, and I have a 1-game lead. So if I lose and they win, it'll be a tie in record, but I think I have the points on them to lock up that number 1 spot. So I guess I'll just wait to see who the 8th seed is and let the chips fall where they may, right, fellas? It's been a great season. Couple things, though, since we only have one more commissioner message, and I should have mentioned this and put this out there before. The roster warnings that I give out, that's a courtesy. That isn't something I have to do. Nowhere in our Constitution or nowhere in the rules is it written that the commissioner needs to give out a roster warning for players. That's a courtesy that I do for you, and it's something I do so you can't say that the Red Cross or their injury came out after the game. So it's a courtesy I do for the league. It's a courtesy I do for you, and it's really a timestamp just so people can't complain and say that the Red Cross, because we used to have that problem. I don't think we've had that problem so much anytime soon within the last few years. I think it was in the beginning of our league where Red Crosses and stuff were dropping after games had started. Right now, I think after the inactive report comes out at 9 a.m. on Sunday, after that point, I think all Red Crosses are just either there or they're gone. And I don't think we have to even really need a timestamp. But I'll continue to give out the roster warnings for the Red Crosses. Inactive players, though, that's up to you to manage your lineup. I don't have the time to go in, look at every injured player in your roster to see if they're going to be inactive or not. That's up to you to do. We did get the 289ers got a $20 fine for starting Traquan Smith on Thanksgiving night. I know we're busy, we're with family, it's Thanksgiving, you're cooking, you're doing whatever, you're spending some time having some drinks. But you still got to, Thanksgiving you don't get a day off from PPH. PPH has no days off. You got to do that all through the 16 weeks of the fantasy season or until your season ends. So, make sure you're checking those lineups. If you have an injured guy in your lineup, you better make sure that they're playing, because if they get into inactive status, you will be fined, and there will be no roster warning for that. And you will just, I have to retroactively go look and see the inactive report to see if any players were starting. So, with that being said, I hope we're all on the same page and this doesn't continue to be a problem. We have had $260 worth of fines this year, so it's really added about an average of about $15 or so per week to the weekly, so that's been good. But you've got to be a pretty big idiot to get stung with the roster fine. And got to be a pretty big idiot if you're going to get fined $80 in a 1 week period from Sunday to Sunday. Dunslap Bagak. Anyway, yeah, so everyone's just gearing up for the playoffs here. We got this last week to get through for all the seeding, so I know people are anxious to know what their playoff matchups are going to be. We do top 8. We reseed after every round, so the highest remaining seed continues to play the lowest remaining seed that remains. And we do reverse the waiver order. So the top 1 and 2 seeds going into the playoffs will have the number 1 and 2 waiver request, while the 8th seed at the bottom, 7th, whatever, are last on the list. So we do reverse. That's the one thing we give the 1 and 2 seeds. So just keep that in mind. I will be manually setting the waiver order after this week's games. So let's go ahead. This is, again, we are in rivalry week still. Rivalry week, or revenge week, whatever you want to call it. The first 2 teams that you played at the beginning of the season are the last 2 teams you play at the end of the season. So I got my teeth kicked in by good old Lukey there, URSO. He got that big win. Christian McCaffrey showed up huge with those 37 points and 200 yards plus 2 touchdowns. That'll do it for you. So that made it difficult to come back. I had a lower scoring week, so is what it is. I needed to have it, I guess, before the playoffs started. I'd rather take the loss now than in 2 weeks. I now have my next matchup with Trump's a Pimp. He went ahead and kicked my teeth in week 2 of the season when Kirk Cousins and good old Stephon Diggs again in that Green Bay game went off. So hopefully they don't do that again this week. I don't think they will in New England, but you never know. Things are maybe looking up for me. He had Leonard Fournette. He gets suspended right when he needs him, and he has to go with Jordan Howard, who he traded for. So we'll see how that plays out and how that goes, but it's not a very exciting game. Trump's a pimp. Trump's a pump. Pump Trump. I think that's a better name. Pump Trump. That's a guy. I think that's what your name should be there, Britt, is Pump Trump. He needs the win more than me. He actually needs it to get in the playoffs, and he needs to score a lot of points too, so he can put some distance between him and URSO. URSO, he wins, he's in. Beasley, it looks like if he wins, he's in. And looks like Patty's going to need some help. He's on the outside looking in. He's going to need to win and score some points and have some of those other teams lose. Same thing with Trump's a Pimp. I think he needs Beasley or Patty to lose for him to make. So, but I think he has Patty on points though. So anyway, like I said, lots of scenarios to go through, and I don't want to go through every single one of them because it's just gets too convoluted. So anyway, let's go ahead. This week I'm going to go ahead and go into this week's review of the games. I'm also going to take back and look and see what you did week 1 against those people, see if you got that revenge or if you swept the season series or got swept. So good look back on seeing how those teams have progressed through the season. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and get into week 12 in the PPH Fantasy Football League. Cool.
All right, let's see what went down in week 12 in Pimps, Plays, and Hustlers Fantasy Football League. Again, this was our revenge week. First 2 teams that you played in week 1 and 2, you played in week 12 and 13. So these were the games that rematches from week 1. So in the first game, we had Basket of Deplorables, who has won now their 4th weekly of the season. He's pretty much been dominating, not record-wise, just money-wise. There's only been 5 people, though, that have won a weekly. It hasn't been spread out. We've had Basket of Deplorables win 4, Suckholes win 3, so there's 7. The Juggernauts win 3, there's 10. Brewdogs win 1, that's 11. And then I win 1, so that's 12. So we only have 1 more weekly left for the year, and hopefully it can go to someone new. But Basket of Deplorables gets the 146.1 to 122.8 win over Trump's a Pimp. He actually gets his revenge because if we look back to week 1, Trump's a Pimp won 122.87 to 103.03. As you saw in week 1, Barkley and Connor just went off for basket of deplorables, but it just wasn't enough to get him over the top because Alvin Kamara scored 35 for Trump's a Pimp. But we come back here to week 12, and almost this exact same score from Trump's a Pimp, but basket of deplorables goes ahead and powers through him. Deshaun Watson definitely did better this time around with 39 points. 27.2 from Barkley. Marlon Mack, only 9.6 points. Didn't get that huge game from Connor. 19.5 from Thielen, 14.5 from Boyd, and then 13 from the Patriots D. He does lose Jack Doyle, so that does hurt him a little bit. He does have Chris Herndon on his bench, so we'll see if that'll be good enough to replace Doyle with. Trump's a Pimp was going to have a huge game out of Leonard Fournette, but ended up getting kicked out and now suspended. But 42.5 points from Kirk Cousins, 22.8 from Leonard Fournette, 15.3 from Alex Jones, and man, I'm telling you, Staines, you had a pretty good running back core there for the last few weeks with Fournette and Jones. I mean, they were putting up 20 plus, and you're being pretty formidable in your running back position. If you started getting this from Cousins, and then if you just have one receiver step up, you're right in the mix. But didn't happen for you, and really not much else to talk about other than Diggs with 14.9 on your squad. You take the loss, you fall to 5-7. You need to get a win, and you need to have Luke lose, and you need to keep that 15 or so point lead you have on them on points scored if you're going to make the playoffs. You're also going to want Beasley's to lose. So those are the people you're going to want to root against this week. All right, in the next game, we had the Big Loads get taken out by the 289ers, 131 to 113.5. You know, Big Loads, you kind of brought this one on yourself. You're the one who wanted to see Montardo keep climbing. That's what you kept saying. Keep climbing, Montardo. When I was playing him 2 weeks ago, well, guess what? I whooped him up. Now he's climbing, and he climbed all over your ass. 131 to 113.5. Put you in a tough spot with a 5-7 record. But let's going back to week 1. Let's see how that game played out there. And you ended up winning by almost a little over half a point. I think it's 0.53 points. You took a 107.13 to 106.6 win over the 289ers in week 1. So the 289ers get their revenge and put you in a tough spot now where you're at 5-7 and you're needing to win to get in. You got more points than Britt and Luke and Patty. So if you win, I'm pretty sure you're in. So big week for you here, Big Loads. Let's see, this week you had 35.2 from Jameis Winston. That was a ballsy call. I'll give you credit for it. I see you rolling the dice. I personally probably would have went with Rivers, but because you just don't know with Winston. He can get pulled at any time. Throws a couple picks, and they just decided, let's go back to Fitzpatrick. But ballsy call, works out for you with 35.2 points. You think, though, with playing the Niners, you'd have had a bigger score than that. 13.2 from Keenan Allen, and then 18 from the Cowboys defense. Your running backs both let you down there. 289ers, 32.6 points from Ben Roethlisberger. Who did you get him for? Big Loads. You traded him. So Big Loads, you kind of traded him this win. You keep Roethlisberger, and he doesn't have that quarterback. I don't think he gets that win. Maybe he goes with Winston, but who knows? 24.8 from Nick Chubb. He's been stepping up. 13.6 from Dalvin Cook, and then 11 from the Browns D. He gets the revenge, sends the Big Loads to 5-7, and improves to 3-9, which ends up putting the haters now at the bottom and in danger of having to do a Fremont Street performance next year at the draft. All right, in the next game, we have the Mollywops, or a.k.a. Suckholes, lose to the Brewdogs 105.5 to 90.3. Going back to week 1, we can see that the Mollywops got the win 136.97 to 115.6. 4-3. Aaron Rodgers went in week 1 there and got you a big 38 points. And we come back here. Look how time has changed. In week 12, only gets 19.2 points against the Brew Dogs there, and against Minnesota. So 19.2 from Aaron Rodgers, 12.3 from Chris Carson, Melvin Gordon with 18.6, and you end up losing him for a couple weeks, week to week. Couldn't happen at a worse time as the playoffs are looming in a week here, or 2 weeks, and you got a 2-week injury. So hopefully, maybe the fantasy gods go ahead and put the healing touch on Gordon, and you can come back, but it's not looking good, and I know that's a blow to your squad. 12.6 from Mike Evans, 13.5 from T.Y. Hilton, and then 11 from Justin Tucker. Brew Dogs gets a decent, good performance by Cam Newton with 32.37. Ends up getting 17.7 from Tyler Lockett. He's been solid all year. 14.6 from Emmanuel Sanders. 11.13 from Chris Boswell, who threw a touchdown. How often do you get a passing touchdown out of your kicker? So that was awesome. And then 16 points from the Broncos D. I don't know what you're doing starting Wendell Smallwood when there were better options out there on the free agent, but it didn't cost you the win. You're just lucky he wasn't inactive either, so you didn't get fined. But you get the revenge against the Suckholes. You send him to 8-4. He's locked in the playoffs. You improve to 7-5, which pretty much locks you into the playoffs, because the worst you're going to finish is 7-6, and that should get you into the dance. So good job, Brew Dogs, making the playoffs there with that win. Locked it up. All right, in the next game, man, this game came down to Monday Night Football. Rookies gets the win, 99.17 to 98.67 over the Haters. Going back to week 1, we could see that the rookie took a 135.87 win to 108.67. So he sweeps the Haters this year. Couldn't even get one win against the rookie in 2 shots. That's how bad your season's gone, Dunslap. Ouch, that's got to hurt. All right, so going back to this week, Andrew Luck with 35.77 points there. 19.5 from Corey Davis. That's what ended up winning. This game came all the way down to the last possessions for the Titans. In the fourth quarter, with under a minute left, they throw like an 8-yard pass to Corey Davis and ends up getting him the extra points he needed to pull ahead. He was down like 0.3, only needed 3 yards receiving, and ends up getting it there at the last second and last possession for the Titans, and pulls out the win. And 11 points from Jake Elliott. Haters, man, dust off that tackle box, bro. Get your Fremont Street performance ideas ready. Start flushing them out, because we're going to be seeing that. 30.87 from Tom Brady. 18 from Phillips Lindsay. He's one of your better free agent pickups of the year, but he hasn't been. You needed to turn that into something. You needed help too many other places. 14.4 from Julian Edelman. 11.6 from Gronkowski. And only 98 points scored, and you got swept by the rookies. Ouch. All right, in the next game we had Patty Wag take that hard loss to the Juggernauts, 114.3 to 111.7. Going into Monday Night Football, the Juggernauts had Lamar Miller and a 1% chance to make up those points. He needed, I think he was down like 22 points, but ended up getting 25.7 from Lamar Miller. That 97-yard touchdown run killed Patty. Oh, man, I didn't see that coming. I thought I had Patty penciled in for the upset here. But Juggernauts pulls it out, improves to 6-6. 32.4 from Breeze. Like I said, 25.7 from Lamar Miller. 12.8 from Julio Jones. And then 16 from the Bears defense. Mayfield, good start there for Patty with 41.2, 15 from Breida, and then 27.9 from Juju Smith-Schuster, and man, takes that hard loss. When we go back to week 1 and we look at this game, we had the Juggernauts take out Patty, 127 127.97 and 94.43. So the Juggernauts get the sweeps paddywhack for the year. Couldn't get a win in 2 shots against the Juggernauts. Ends up getting going to 5 and 7. He's going to need a win and some help to get in the playoffs there for Patty. Juggernauts at 6 and 6 could still miss it if he loses this week, but it's going to take a lot of points. I think he's going to have it on points, though. So I think he's pretty much locked in because he's way ahead of points over everyone else. He could be 6 and 7. So I'm pretty sure Juggernauts is locked in there. But Patty is going to need to win, and he's going to need some help in order to make the playoffs this year. All right, in the last game here, you got your boy getting my teeth kicked in here by URSO, 139.73 to 109.23. Carson Wentz with only 21.73 points. It's Christian McCaffrey that did it to me with 37.7 points. It's hard to get that win when you got a running back getting almost 40 points. Second running back, too, Mixon with 15.5, 17.3 from DJ Moore. I mean, like, where did that come from? I mean, I know he's been solid some games. It just happened to be this week was his week against me. And he was doing pretty shitty until the fourth quarter, too. So this was pretty much an all, fog juice on DJ Moore. Fog juiced me. Got me real juicy. And then 15.1 from Ertz. 12 from Forbath, and then 16 points from the Chargers D. Man, that juicy fog juice got dropped on my chin by good old Luke. 32.73 from Matt Ryan for me. I was getting worried there on Thanksgiving night. Could have been a different game if that second touchdown could have went to Ridley. I did fumble into the end zone. That hurt. That hurt. That was a game changer there. Didn't happen, so 21.3 from Ezekiel Elliott. Again, back to Matt Ryan. We're just glad he was able to pull out a decent game there because he looked pretty bad for a while. And then only 9.8 from Kamara. That's an underperforming game from him. I'm hoping it was due to the Thanksgiving dinner, and he bounces back this week against Dallas. We'll see. 12.3 from Ridley. Could have had a much better game. You take away that fumble, give the touchdown. That's over 20 points there. He would have been nice to have that, but it didn't happen. 12.9 from Devontae Adams. Cursed now at tight end because O.J. Howard went out with an injury, and I had to go with Evan Ingram, who pulls a hammy in warm-ups, and I hate when I pay $5 for 0. God, I might as well just not picked up a guy. I could have got 0 for $0. I hate getting 0 for $5. And then 15 from the Texans D, which sucks because I had 2 27-point defenses on my bench with the Ravens and the Saints. So going back to week 1 and me and Lukey's game, I got the win, 117.93 to 94.97, and I got that even with only 14 points from Matt Ryan, but Tyreek Hill showed up big for me that week. He was on bye this week, so I can take that loss. It doesn't hurt too bad. Needed to happen before the playoffs start. I can even take a loss this week, so not a big deal. But bigger deal for good old URSO there. He needed to win. Goes ahead and gets himself to 6 and 6. And again, if he has to win, but if he loses and Britt wins, then it's going to come down to points. And Britt has like 15 points. So this is going to be a good matchup to watch this week. Me and Trump's a Pump game here because he needs to win. If I could put him out of his misery with the win here, so that'd be nice to end his season and send him fishing. So anyway, that's week 12 in the PPH Fantasy Football League. We will again next week. I'm going to go over the playoff matchups rather than go over the games. So we'll see who makes the playoffs and see what those first round matchups do. So all right, Lump Dogs out. See ya. Peace.
All right. What do you think, y'all? Those are some crazy games that went down last week. They sure were. Another thing I just like to bring up in closing here is we do have some owners out there that owe quite a bit of money. Haters, you're at like $350 owed. 289ers, you're at like $345 owed. URSO, I mean, he looks like he's going to make the playoffs. He owes like $340. Trump's a pimp. He owes quite a bit of money too, like $300. So there's quite a bit of money out there. I would suggest and I would hope that we don't have to wait to the Super Bowl to get the money from these guys, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to have to do because these guys aren't stand-up guys and pay what they owe. They have to be, badgered. You have to call them. You got to track them down. You got to hound them. You can't just say, hey, bro, you owe some money, and you know it's going to be taken care of. You got to say, hey, when are you going to get that to me? When are you going to get that to me? When are you going to get that to me? When are you going to get that to me? And they'll ignore you, and then on the last absolute possible minute that it's due, then you'll start hearing from these guys. So it would help if the rest of you out there would start dropping some fog juice on these fuckers and get them to start paying, make some stink about it, because whoever wins, whether that's Tommy, Foster, Darren, I guess Darren's now the favorite according to the CBS fantasy journalist with over a 20% chance to take the championship. I don't know what they use, to calculate those odds, but it's weird that I only have like a 11% chance at winning the championship, and I got a pretty stacked team, but is what it is. But Darren Boy, Cone, Suckholes, he's a treasurer, so he'll be on their helmets. Foster, and who else is locked into? I don't think Foster's locked into the play. He got that big win, but anyway, the rest of you guys need to get on these guys' helmets and start telling them to pay up so we can get our cash all turned in, and the faster we get the cash turned in, the faster the people can get paid out. So anyway, I guess this is it. I get one more commissioner message, and then I'm done. Yes, done with the commissioner messages. It's been a great year. I hope you guys have enjoyed my new upgraded facilities. I'm going to be looking to make some changes in the off season. I hope to get a bigger green screen so I'm not so scrunched in. I didn't realize that a 6x9 wasn't big enough, and it cuts me off, and I have to put this little box, and you can see my hands get cut off. So looking to upgrade that. I hope to get a better camera. That would be wonderful as well. Man, more than anything, I need a new laptop. So might start a PPH GoFundMe account here. Get some of these commissioner tools helped paid for by the league, and it's just not me having to continuously dump money into these commissioner messages to try to do them for you guys. We want them at high production levels and have some good special effects. We're going to have to start throwing in for it. So I'll get some of this stuff, but new laptop and stuff, I don't think that's in the cards for me or anyone really for any time soon. But it would help in production of these videos and making them go a little bit more smoothly. Anyway, so we'll see about that. We do also need to try to get a new toilet bowl trophy. We've upgraded our main trophy, the championship belt. That is excellent, and I can't see it getting much better. We can always make better tweaks to it, but I think we need to upgrade our ship bowl trophy for the loser of the league. That toilet bowl, I think, has run its course. I think we should try to upgrade that into something else, into a better crappy trophy. Other than that, we're going to have a rules meeting in March again. Start thinking about some stuff that you want to make to tweak the league to make it a little bit better, like maybe getting rid of decimal scoring. I think more than anything, tweaking our defensive scoring. I think it's way too much. I think we need to definitely lower sacks and turnovers, and maybe get rid of these scoring bonus points and stuff like that to shave some stuff off. So instead of 40 point, you're getting like 30 or something like that, or 28. So 40 points out of your defense is just too much. Anyway, so that's really about it for this week in PPH. I'll check you guys out next week for the last and final commissioner message of the 2018 season. I'll go through the playoff matchups and give you my predictions for the first round. And like I said, let's get everyone paid up. So start getting on people's helmets. All right, Lump Dogs out.